All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Quickfire Comics and Games. This is a special edition Aliens cast. So, with me today, I have a very good friend and knowledgeable man, Mr. David Mark Moody. He's going to be helping me talk about the love and try to share our passion for the Aliens franchise. To me, you all know that Aliens has a special place in my heart. I've got the toys, I've got the comics, I love the games. Of course, the movies are phenomenal, but you know, it's good to share this with friends, because I think the more that you can talk about a specific love and passion with somebody else that also has that passion, you can kind of feed off of each other and learn so very much. So why don't you tell us, sir, where were you when you first watched Alien movies? Was it the second one? Was it the first one? Who introduced you? I want to know everything about the Aliens movie.
Well, it was an old mate of mine, mate Darren. And the first one he showed me was Aliens. He didn't show me Alien. He showed me Aliens because it was the more action-packed one, and
yeah.
when I was younger, I was fully into action movies and everything.
Sure.
And basically, what it was, I saw it at 10 years old.
Oh yeah, that's okay. That's pretty young. That's pretty young.
It was a terrible idea. It was a terrible idea to watch that at 10 years old. Sorry, I need to take my glasses off here.
Yeah, no worries.
And yeah, it was a terrible idea because I had nightmares for about 3 months, but totally worth it because Aliens is my favorite film. It is. I love the film. I love the genre, even though there are a couple of in the franchise that are a bit iffy, but the Alien genre itself is just absolutely, I think, is so rich with great lore.
So do you prefer James Cameron's film over Ridley Scott? Which is totally cool if you do, but is that your preference over 1 or 2? Because I think 1 and 2 are kind of regarded as like the best in the series if you're talking about the movies. How do you feel about it?
Personally, Aliens is my favorite. There's no doubt about that. But when it comes to Alien, I can't say nothing bad about Alien at the same time because I consider them completely different films. Alien is a full-on sci-fi horror, and I consider it my favorite horror. The horror of the franchise these days you see these days is not very good. I don't think. Even though I've seen Alien multiple times and it's I know what's going to happen. It doesn't scare me anymore. But when I first saw it, like a mate of mine did not tell me when was the Alien going to come out or anything when I first saw Alien, even though I knew how they came out because I saw Aliens. They scared the living crap out of me. I was like, oh, that is terrible. I was like, terrible. That's the worst way to die because on Aliens, the female is attached to a wall. She can't move. This guy is flopped everywhere on Alien. It's absolutely fantastic. And the great thing of what I love about Alien, because I've watched all the documentaries about it, how it was made on Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, and Prometheus, what's just come out a few years back.
Right.
What I love about it is that the chest burst scene is one of the first scenes they record and they film.
No, that scene. Oh god, that scene is terrible.
Absolutely fantastic. But what I love about it is that the director did not tell them, or the writers did not tell the other cast except Mr. Hunt.
Yeah, nobody knew it was going to happen. I remember that. Yeah.
They had no idea whatsoever, and it was just fantastic. So when you see that happen, they are literally full on shock. They are literally crapping themselves. What the hell's just happened there? And that's what makes it even more special. A lot of people give Alien a little bit of a bash because it's a very slow burn at the start, but I think that's the best part because it's showing you all these characters and the great character development. You see the science, the doctor, you can tell straight away he's a bit of a slimy little weasel.
Right.
The captain, the thing is, the captain's made out to be the main character. It's not Sigourney Weaver. At the time, people think it because Sigourney Weaver wasn't as big as a star as the gentleman who was the captain. I can't remember his name. I'll have to have a research that back up. I'm not very good remembering the names, except the main star. And he's pulled off as the main character, not Sigourney Weaver. And that's what I think is so fantastic. And when she's the one who survives at the end. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, no, it's you can spoil the crap out of this movie. It's a bazillion years old, so. No, you're totally right. I think like it was Tom Skerritt was the actor's name. And I'm right there with you. I think what made Alien to me so special is I was so young when I saw that. I think I said it in my podcast. I think I did the math, and I may have been like 8 or 9 even when I first saw that film. It came out in 1979, but I probably didn't see it till around 8 or 9 years old. And that chestbuster scene scared the shit out of me. Like, I mean, like, forever. I was just like, oh man, yeah, that is just such a great scene in all of film, by like a landslide. That's like one of those scenes, and I think you nailed the nail on the head when you say they didn't know what was going to happen. And I mean, could you imagine how much shock that was? They're just talking casually, you know, having a little bit of a drink and something to eat, and all of a sudden their person who they've obviously became friends with starts to like go like this. They probably thought the guy was having a heart attack. Yeah. You know, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that is it. I wanted to ask you, so on the disc where you can see the theatrical version and the cinematic edition, what was cut? Yeah, the director's cut. Yeah, in the theatrical, they never really show the alien doing its thing as far as where it's taking people in the theatrical version, right? It just shows them killing people and then taking people. But it's kind of cool in the director's cut. I think we have the same Blu-ray quadrilogy. Is that what they're calling it? Where they show them for the first time putting the people into the nest to you know, repopulate their alien species. Did you have a preference over theatrical or the director's cut? Like, did you prefer the original version, or did you appreciate like the director's cut little tidbits here and there?
I mostly watch the director's cut now, but I have no problem with the first release one either. I think it's just what the director's cut does is that because it adds in that scene, it just delves right into the lore even more about it. Because a lot of because you're thinking, oh, what's that alien doing? Blah blah blah. It can't just be thinking itself. Oh, I'm just gonna kill all these things and I'm just gonna float. It's not gonna just do that. No, Alien. What I know, they have a very high sense of where they're going and everything. So it kind of knows. I think it kind of knew where it was going a little bit, and they needed to appropriate the more eggs and everything. So it was just a freaky way how they did it. That he took 2 people and he turned them in. He was starting to turn them into eggs. That was just the most insane thing about it.
Right, right. If you had to say one thing about the Alien movie that you didn't like, was there anything that you could have possibly said, hey, I wish maybe this had happened, or I didn't really care for this person? Was there anything about the film that you didn't like at all, which is okay? I mean, if there was any negatives.
That scream at the end.
That
scream. She literally sounds like that she's getting, I don't want to say the word out loud, that's just getting a rasp basically, but it comes up to her slowly, and it's like you could see it in his face. It's like this, I'm just going to slowly torture you.
Yeah.
Burke really fast. That whole scene, I would say, that's pretty much the only downside. The scene is fantastic, but it's how they portray the alien. Like the alien, when he's killed Burke, turns around, goes after the woman, and he's just like a giant robot.
Right. Yeah.
Just completely. That shows that's the only part of the film I literally think it's shown its age, because it's literally, I'm like, wait a minute, you tell me you just couldn't you couldn't have like shot out that the alien was moving towards her instead of not showing the alien and all that. That's the only thing I would say. But other than that, I think it's a perfect horror movie and everything.
I think my only negative is that fucking cat. Fuck Jonesy. That cat. that cat. If that was me on that ship, that cat would have been ditched. Like, I would have been like, "All right, cat, you're on your own." You know what I mean? Like,
leaves off. Leaves the cat. And the alien isn't even interested in the cat. That tells something straight away, I think.
Yeah, he's like, "Who's this little furry? Yeah, who's this little furry thing? Like, we don't even need this thing."
He's like, leave the book, leave him.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The first film for me is probably my favorite of the bunch, but that's just probably because I saw it first. You know what I mean? And that was my first introduction to it. And Nightmares. And I want to talk about the alien character himself. H.R. Geiger is the creator. And I think at that point, aliens to me were little green men with big ass heads, bald heads, kind of like mine. Yeah. and so to see an alien that has this long kind of dragon-like figure with like this crazy extra skeletal bug-like feature, like it, the look of the alien alone scares the shit out of me. Like it just looks like a crazy killing machine, you know?
Yeah.
I think that the sequel though, I think that James Cameron did a lot of good things with the sequel. Like the sequel was the first time we actually saw the Queen alien, right?
Yeah.
And I gotta ask you right now, favorite quote from Aliens 2, go.
God, man, you asked too many things there. It's got to be the line at the end, man. Get away from her, you bitch. It's got to be that one, man. There's so many awesome ones. Like, I love, like, there's so many great characters. Like, you've got Hudson, you've got Hicks, you've got Vasquez, you've got Newt, man. And Newt, a lot of things you could literally think the little girl could have been annoying, but she wasn't. You know, and that's what I liked about it. And the special, when it comes to the choices between the theatrical release and the special edition, wins hands down by a mile for me. Even though I do love the other version, but it's just the special edition was the original idea for James Cameron. That's what he wanted to throw out. That's what he wanted to show. He was just told he had to shorten it down by Fox at the time, and now he's re-released it again. What's just a fantastic thing. There's a fun fact about it. When you first, I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but you would have to rewatch it. When you first see the Queen alien, and when Ripley slowly turns around, you see her big right at the beginning, looking right up. You can see right at the back a guy controlling her.
No way, controlling the alien?
Controlling the alien, because it's like it's a robot and everything in there.
Is it in the upper left-hand side of the screen?
Yeah, kind of at the in between her arms.
And this is when she's going into the nest to rescue Newt, correct?
It's when you see the Queen alien first at the beginning, when she turns fully around, go past the embryo part, she sees the alien, and you literally see a little head.
Oh, I'm totally gonna go back and try to find that guy's little dome.
I've watched it so many times. I didn't notice it for quite a while until about a year ago with a mate of mine. I was watching it, and I was just like, did you see that? I was like, what do you mean? What do you see? And I just rewound it quickly. I was like, and I got up close and I said, you see that, don't you? A little guy with a head full of hair. And I was like, oh my God, if James Cameron has seen that, that guy is probably dead.
Yeah. Is he smiling? Is he smiling while controlling the alien? Is he like, I'm controlling it?
He's trying to hide. He's trying to hide, but he's not doing a very good bloody job at it.
That's funny. That's funny. I'm gonna have to go with my favorite quote is the "Game over, man. Game over." I still say that sometimes. Yeah, I think that you're right. I think that the cast. The cast in Alien 1 was amazing, right? Like those were great characters, and obviously you get to see Sigourney Weaver in probably some of her finest acting ever. I mean, Sigourney Weaver being terrified in Aliens 1 is amazing. She turns out to be a little bit more confident in 2, right? When you get to see her driving that tank through the wall. But I think you're right by saying, like, Hicks and Vasquez and all these Bishop and Newt. I think that there's a much more collected, colorful cast in the sequel. And I don't blame James Cameron at all for trying to make it an action film, because I think that he probably would have fucked it up if he tried to make it a horror flick. I mean, James Cameron has made some of the best action movies of all time. Yeah. And in fact, and who's going to tell that guy what to do? So I think he did an excellent job. Also, that fight scene at the end, man. I mean, don't you just want one of those loaders? I just want one of those loaders in my everyday life.
I'm hoping to buy one eventually. I'm just going to stick it somewhere, and I'm just have it. I don't know. I'll have it somewhere around my flat.
I feel like if I had one of those loaders, everybody would call me to help them move shit. They'd be like, "I'm moving, bro. I need you to come help me move this." I'd be like, "Oh God, let me get my loader. I'll be right back." How do you feel? Take me a few hours. How do you feel about Aliens 3? I think it gets way too much hate. I like that movie. I'm just gonna say.
The theatrical release is a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
The director's cut is a far better. It explains it a lot better. It is, sadly though, is not as good as the first two. I'll even say that right now. The thing is about it is that Fox would not allowing David Fincher to do what he wanted to do. The script went through so many changes. It's unbelievable when it comes to that film. I do believe they kind of fixed it with the special edition, but
Right.
it's. I still enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I think the ending is fantastic. The chase scene, I think, is absolutely fantastic.
Right.
I'm not. I'll hold up right now. I'm really glad they changed the chest burst scene on the special edition. I hate the dog one. I hated it. Never stand it. I could never watch it just because I love dogs and I have a dog of my own and everything, and I just couldn't stand seeing that.
Yeah.
But no, it is a good film. But I would probably rate it a 7 out of 10 for the special edition, and the poise a 5 out of 10 for the theatrical release because
Right.
it was such a downer compared to what the original was. The original two were even Sigourney Weaver. He wasn't going to come back for it. They said if they wanted to come back, they have to kill her off.
Yeah. I don't know about you. My first problem was I didn't really like how they copped out and said that this face hugger somehow got on the spacecraft. Because I think Bishop as a droid would have known if there was another organic life form on the ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is when they're leaving from 2, because the whole thought process is at the end of 2, the place, the planet's blowing up that they terraformed, and they're leaving into space, and somehow this face hugger just slipped on board. And are we supposed to assume too that, like, so Bishop didn't know that there was a face hugger on board? And where the hell did this face hugger come from? Because, like, so Sigourney Weaver clearly fries the fuck out of all the eggs in the nest in the sequel. So where did this face hugger come from? So I don't know. I think that if they were going to do it, they should have just done a whole nother planet where these aliens had come from. You know what I mean? Something completely separate from the sequel. I mean...
Yeah, that is probably one of the big things about the film is that it's not explained how that happened. I think if they just somehow that the green alien, to what I know, they can breathe in space. So the green alien's just floating around. For me, I would have just got someone just to pick her up, and then somehow by the time they've got back, the green alien's there as well, and all shit runs right. And also, I don't like that they kill Hicks and Newt. I hated that. I absolutely despised that. Even though they've kind of tried to fix it in the Colonial Marines game, what is just... I don't even get into that. That's too bad. But it's not a bad film because I love Charles Dance in it, but then he dies, and I was like, oh my god, you just killed Charles Dance. And he looked like he was going to be like the main male character in it and all that. And then it was someone else, and it was a little bit all over the place. But it's not a bad film. It's not the worst film. I think it's kind of like the Star Wars prequels. I think it's like the original, so legendary, so loved, and everything. Such 3 perfect films, and then you have the prequels, who, if you look back on it and truly look at it, they aren't bad stories. It was poorly executed, and that's what it is. I think with 3, it's a good story. It's just poorly executed, and with Fox, like I said, David Fincher didn't even finish the film. He walked. He quit. The Fox finished it all off. They even had to get the Sigourney Weaver back to refilm the ending, and you could even tell that she has a cap on her head because her hair has grown back by then, and all that. So it was a bit of a mess because I blame Fox more than anything when it comes to that film. But it's not the worst. I think when it comes to the worst, for me, it's the next one. What's the worst?
You know what's funny about that too? That I generally like the actors though in Resurrection. Like, Winona Ryder doesn't suck as an actor. She's done a lot of good stuff. And help me, who's that? I should know this off the top of my head. Who's the older guy who plays as Hellboy? What's his name?
Ron Perlman.
Yeah, him. He's a great actor, and so I think the only good scene, in my opinion, in that whole movie is that underwater scene when you see the aliens swimming through and they're swimming and they're shooting back in slow motion. That was the only good thing about that entire movie.
That was a fantastic scene. I give them credit to one thing, is that they had two from Alien and Aliens. You have two great chest burster scenes, especially in Alien, and then I have to give Resurrection props because the chest burster scene in Alien Resurrection is absolutely brilliant. The one where it goes through the guy's head, I think it's absolutely
yeah, he holds him up here or whatever. Yeah.
Literally thinking, the guy was literally thinking, I'm going to die, I'm going to take you with me in the worst way ever. I thought that was pretty damn good. But the whole thing about the Queen alien, she's got pregnant somehow, and a human hybrid alien doesn't even look right. The worst thing about it, what I don't like about it is that what annoys me is that the script is by Joss Whedon. The guy who did Buffy, Angel, Dollhouse, and the Avengers 2 and everything, Serenity, Firefly.
I know, Firefly, fucking Firefly. I mean, it's like, holy crap, how did he screw this up?
No, then it was just, and Sigourney Weaver only came back to this film because she knew that Alien 3 got a bad rap, and she wanted to try and have Ripley go out on a good way and everything. But this is the thing about it. Now, Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection are no longer canon. Fox have going to do an Alien 3.
Yeah, I heard about this, and I'm really excited about it as well. I also heard that Prometheus 2 was going to be a thing.
Prometheus 2 is in the works. Apparently, Ridley Scott he's just finished The Martian. Well, I can't wait to see. And his next project, he says, is going to be Prometheus 2.
That's amazing. So it's a good time to be like an Aliens like fan. I mean, honestly, there's a bunch of content as far as movies and everything. Yeah, I can't wait, dude. I can't wait. That's just going to be amazing to me.
The only thing I'm worried about the new Alien film, Alien 3, is the director. He's had one good movie. The other two movies have been bombs. Blom, I think he's called. And so he's said that he's bringing back Hicks as well. So Hicks is back alive. Sigourney Weaver is fully alive again. I don't know what's happening about Newt. I'm guessing, obviously, to what I know, it's going to be a good few years after Aliens. They're back home, blah, 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 to what I know. But other than that, that's the only thing we know about it. And we don't know when it's going to come, though, because Ridley Scott has told Fox he wants to get his film out first. So you're thinking... Oh, yeah. So you're looking at Prometheus is probably going to be about 2 years. So you're looking at about 2017 at the earliest, I would say, for that. So
I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll happily wait. Hopefully it's going to be good. I don't want it to be a PG freaking 13 film.
It better not be. It better not be a PG-13 film. I'll write it.
I'll boycott it. I won't go and see it. I won't spend the money at the cinema for it. I'll boycott the bugger if it is a PG-13.
So I gotta ask you, have you ever read any of the comic books?
Sadly, no. Over where I live in my area in the UK, we don't really have a comic book store.
Okay.
And I'm going to start looking into it and possibly buying some. I am a huge fan of it. I'm going to be getting some more figures of it. I really enjoyed the Alien Isolation game. I know you haven't tried that out.
That is on my backlog list. Absolutely. I wanted to show you. I think just talking about the comics, I highly recommend checking out the Aliens Omnibus Volume 1. And you can pick this up on Amazon. I don't know what the currency translation is, but for us it's about $17. And it fits in about, I want to say, how many stories do we have in here? We have 6 total stories. And this is a great beginning because you'll get 6 stories all in one nice book, and it's got some amazing artwork and great storytelling. So if you want to get into the Aliens comics, I recommend Aliens Omnibus Volume 1. That's where I would start. So moving on from the comics, so the game. So where did you rate Alien Isolation? On how much you loved it? If you had to do a IGN style 10 out of 10 scale, where were you at with that?
I've rated higher what it got from IGN, I would give it an 8. It's
Really?
not a perfect film. What it lets itself down is that it's a part where it comes to, where I don't want to spoil it for you or anything like that when you get to it. It's a
Right.
part where what happens, and it should stop there.
And it doesn't?
It doesn't. It goes on for like another 4 or 5 chapters, and that part just seems a bit iffy for me. And I'm just like, oh, no, that's just wrong. It should just literally stop, because that part where they should have stopped is such an adrenaline rush. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Did you find it scary? Was it a scary game? Like, did you actually go, like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it scared the living crap. The AI for the alien is fantastic. None of this they gave us in Colonial Marines is absolutely a beautiful AI. Absolutely fantastic how they did it. The story is pretty darn good. Like, I don't mind the story. I think it's the lip syncing for some of the characters is a bit off sometimes, but it's a beautiful atmospheric game. It's literally like playing Alien. Like, if you ever thought, oh, if I had a day, could I go? What would I do? Mine would be to go to Alien. Well, mine would be to be in the Alien universe. You get that with Alien Isolation. You get the first Alien and everything. It's absolutely. You literally feel like Ripley from Alien.
So, do you play as? I think I heard about it. Don't you play as a Ripley's daughter? Is that correct?
It's the daughter, Amanda Ripley.
Okay, and so does Sigourney Weaver do any sort of? I guess this is not really a spoiler. So if you're watching, sorry, maybe it is, but just yes or no. Does Sigourney Weaver play any sort of role in this? Do we get any voice acting from her at all in the game?
Yes.
Oh wow! So I should probably definitely play this game, huh?
Don't see her. I'll tell you that. There, it's no spoiler. You don't see her. It's even said you don't. Even the creators said before the game came out, you don't see her, but she is in the game.
Okay, so it's more like voiceovers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a couple of actors from the first film have done it.
That's badass, dude. Yeah, Aliens is amazing. So I got to ask you, because, you know, Aliens has wormed its way into other franchises. Where are you on the Aliens versus Predator thing? Do you like it? Do you don't like it? Like, how do you feel about the whole thing? It's not just the games, but like the movies and the games and everything as one universe. Do you like that stuff?
The game what came out a couple of years ago, I really enjoyed. I didn't mind that whatsoever. I really liked you could the Marines, the Predator, and the Alien. I really liked that.
Yeah.
The films, on the other hand, are not good for me. I think the first one is not good. I think the characters are boring. I think they tried to riddle it in so much that they have to have Mr. Whalen in it, and so they brought the guy who Harring Lentz, I can't remember his name, Lance Erickson, I believe it is. Him, he pawned him onto it. You really see he's just there for a paycheck. And I literally thought, oh god, that was too bad. But Alien McQueen, though, I don't mind because it literally the film literally does what the first one should have done. Is that you're not there to see the humans, you're there to see the alien and the predator fight, and that's basically what they kind of gave you in the Alien versus Predator 2. But they still both aren't great films.
I remember playing, I don't know if you remember about this one. This is old. I don't know how old you are, brother, but I'm 33. I remember playing Alien versus Predator on the Jaguar, which was a hella old console, which is if you try to go back and play it now, it's like nearly unplayable. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I played the Alien versus Predator on the Xbox 360, which you were able to play as the Marine and the Predator and the Alien. And you know, I just don't understand why that can't be a good game. And it's funny because you see the Predator now, it's like in Mortal Kombat, and also you see a bunch of other crossovers with the Aliens. I mean, Aliens and Predator have kind of like just wormed their way into a whole bunch of other franchises, and I just really hope that the Aliens franchise and the Predator franchise gets back on its feet. I just really love those characters, and there's no reason to let it die. You know, I mean, with all the Star Wars coming back and being so strong, there's no reason why Aliens, especially, just couldn't resurface and be an awesome new movie and just captivate younger viewers because there isn't anybody above the age of 20, I bet, that you'd be like, hey, have you ever heard about the Aliens movies? And if they said no, it'd be like, where the fuck were you in the 90s? You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I mean, yeah.
I just feel like, unfortunately, yeah, man, it just, Aliens needs to come back strong and hard. It really does. So
hopefully it will with the next film and with Prometheus too. Hopefully they will be able to sort it out and make sure it is gets back on its feet, basically.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, I am almost out of time. I got to go to work. Do you have any closing thoughts on Aliens, brother?
To anyone who's watching out there, you got to give it a go. Ignore the AVP films; they aren't the best. But Alien and Aliens, they just for cinema alone, and for how the story is, and how they're directed, and how they're shot, and how they're acted, it's fantastic. Like Sigourney Weaver got nominated for an Oscar in Aliens in a sci-fi horror. That is a rarity these days. It is absolutely a rarity. And for her, yes, she did not win it, sadly enough, but it's a testament to her, and it's a testament to the full story, and the directors nailed it perfectly for Alien and Aliens. Alien 3, don't worry about the theatrical release. Definitely go to the special edition. It tells you better. It tells you more. Yes, still a bit iffy at the beginning, but other than that, it's great. Alien Resurrection, turn your brain off, get drunk, have popcorn. There. When it comes to that one, I barely watched Alien Resurrection for quite a while. I watched it last week when I watched all 4 films again, and it still isn't great. But I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get some popcorn and I'm gonna switch my brain. Like watching Alien Resurrection is like watching a Transformers movie. You turn your brain off. You don't take it too seriously.
Right. Well, I want to say thank you so very much. Do you have any Twitter handle you would like to plug, or PlayStation Network ID, or anything like that?
My Twitter handle is Dafydd Mark Moody. Dafydd Mark Moody, my full name, Dafydd Mark Moody, and then my Facebook is the full name as well.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. That was Special Edition Aliens, Quickfire Comics and Games. Thank you so much for watching. And go get yourself that fucking Aliens quadrilogy, damn it. Peace out. Have a good day.
Get it now.